Welcome to Dharmic Evolution. Hey everybody, I'm your host, James Kevin O'Connor, singer-songwriter, audio-video artist, master storyteller, and international talent agent. Hey, you guys have been listening up good. That Dharmic Evolution community page is really happening on Facebook. If you haven't yet, go over there and sign up and check in on some of the talent around the world that is on there posting their comment or just checking in, posting videos, new songs, new albums, tour dates, some photos, whatever you want to put up. It's there for the community of artists worldwide and for people who just want to check in and participate and see what's going on. Hey, today we are in one of my favorite countries, Canada. Had so many artists on this show before from Canada. I feel like I live there sometimes. We're with Australian-Canadian singer-songwriter. That's right, she is both, but now based in Alberta, Canada, with her family. She was influenced by her father's musical abilities and talents. Although too shy as a youngster to even answer the phone, she shed all of her inhibitions and learned to fly. Get ready for the stories, the adventures, and the amazing music of Joanne Janzen. You better strap up your seatbelts and let's go for a ride. On the Dharmic Evolution today, this is a first. We have a lady here who is both Canadian and Australian, Joanne Janzen. Joanne, welcome to the Dharmic Evolution.
Hi, James. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
yes, I am.
So how did you break it up in your life to get to both of those nationalities? I love this because they're in some ways to me they're similar because I've had so many guests on from both Australia and from Canada. So tell us how you manage this trick.
Well, it's kind of a crazy story, and you're right. We are a little bit similar culturally, although from very different ends of the world.
Yeah.
So it's both strange and familiar at the same time. But my husband is actually Canadian.
Okay.
And we met many years ago. We actually traveled in a group called Up With People. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. But
yes, I am.
So we back when I was in university, they came to Australia. I believe it was one of the last times that they ever toured through Australia, and I happened to be at a show, wound up there and auditioned for the show, and a few years later found myself traveling around North America in this musical group. And my husband at the time, who came from a little tiny farming community in Saskatchewan, was in the group as well. And we ended up towards the end of the year, sort of started dating, and the rest is history. We went back to Australia, got married. I moved to Alberta. Now we've been here ever since. Awesome. So how do you like it? It's quite a transition, right? Because Australia with the heat and everything, and now you never had experienced winter down there, right? No, and as a matter of fact, I woke up to snow this morning. It's quite cold this morning and snowing. But I come from quite a tropical part of Australia too. I come from the northeast coast, which is the Great Barrier Reef area. Oh, wow. So I had never experienced snow before leaving Australia, and I was probably 23 years old when I first left Australia and ended up in Colorado. And then when I came to Canada, I have to say I was pretty homesick for the first few years.
Were you? Yeah.
When you're displaced a little bit, it's quite difficult. But it's so familiar to me. I feel like I'm such a part of Canada and both Australia. I feel very patriotic when anything Australian comes around, and I feel very patriotic about anything Canadian. So, I think
you're starting a new trend. I think it's kind of cool,
I'm going to call myself a Castralian or a Kanazi sometimes. But no, it was very different. But we have two kids. We have two girls, and they're, raised here. So this is home for us. And I think there's actually something really magical that happens when you do displace yourself from your home.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of figure out who you are and how you're going to survive and sort of fit in and adapt to a new place.
Yeah.
And I think that was actually really good for me. So I wish I could find a way to live in Australia for 6 months of the year, Canada for 6 months of the year.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really a winter person.
So maybe you'll work that out when the kids get older. You never know. I mean, that sounds like a good plan to me. I mean, I don't know how you haven't run back so far with the winters you guys have.
I joke that every winter I threaten my husband at least once that we're moving to Australia right now, and it's happening. But I tend to get through it. But yeah, winter for me is really difficult. I tried to be a good winter person. I tried to go skiing and snowboarding, and I just realized it wasn't for me.
Yeah, right.
So I do a lot of writing and a lot of touring, and I try to keep as busy as I can throughout the winter. And
yeah, it's hard to do that too when you don't grow up with it. I mean, the Canadians are born with ice skates on a hockey stick. They come out of the crib with the hospital with a little hockey stick.
My husband just played hockey last night.
Did he?
He still plays hockey every Sunday.
It's so ingrained into their life and everything. Yeah. So I think it's hard if you don't have that. It's hard to step into it as an adult when you weren't connected to it. Hey, so let's talk music a little bit. You got so much going on. I love what you're doing with your career. You've got so many great songs. You've done so much. How did you get first connected to music? What was the pull for you? Were you a little girl when you started? Did you start later? How did you come into this world?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, actually, my father was a musician and still dabbles in music in Australia. And so I come by it honestly. I grew up in the dance halls and pubs when he was playing music. He played music since he was like 15 years old. So I kind of came by that. But to be honest, he never really wanted me to become a musician. He always thought it would be easier if I would go to university and do all that. And so I did that. I went to university and I sort of did a little music in high school. I actually did musical theater, which I loved as a way to bring me out of my shell because I was hopelessly shy.
Okay.
Hopelessly shy to where I couldn't even answer the phone. I was terribly shy. So
really, you wouldn't answer the phone? Wow.
No, and then actually my English teacher in grade 9 told my mom that I should go into a drama program. So I did that and sort of discovered that I loved the stage and I loved singing. And then I did the right thing and went to university, put myself through university. I actually became a computer programmer and a business analyst for a few years.
Wow.
And I was really good at it. And but I knew after 2 years it was not where my heart was.
Yeah.
And so I joined up with people as a way for me at the time to see if I really did want to do this. And I did for 18 months. I toured all over the world with them and did music. And I knew I had to find a way to do that full time.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how I was going to do that because I had this great, career coming up in computer programming and everything like that. But when I came to Canada, I actually did start in the computer industry. And within about 5 years, I made the switch to full-time music and told myself after I made the switch, I was never, ever going back to a day job. And I would do whatever I had to do to stay in it full time. And, it's been a struggle some days, and it's just been amazing that I'm sitting here 10 years later and I'm still full time in music because that's all I ever want to do.
That's fantastic. I think it's time to play a little track. Let everybody know what Joanne's all about. Everybody knows better. Here we go.
We're spinning around in circles in this crazy sad circus that we call life. They say the odds of us making it are stacking up against us all the time. So come on, baby, they'll say what they want. Come on, baby, let them talk. Everybody knows better. Everybody's got the answer on love and hugs and the damage it can do. They all want to criticize, but if I had to analyze, I'd say you and I are living through that. Everybody knows better than no one knows me better than you. So let's do a little work on this. Baby, come give me a kiss right now. When you and I get close, we know there ain't nothing that we can sort out. So come on, baby, they got nothing on us. Come on, baby, when it comes to love, everybody knows better. Everybody's got the answer on love and hearts and the damage it can do. They all want to criticize, but if I had to analyze, I see you and I are living through that everybody knows better, but no one knows me better than you. Baby, when we're home at night, you can just make me believe that everybody's running round looking for what we found. I'll just smile and let it be. The ones that know better, the ones that have the answer on love and hearts and the damage it can do. They still want to criticize, but if I had to analyze, I'd say you and I are living through that everybody knows better, but no one knows me better than you. That everybody knows better, but no one knows me better than you. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do.
Yeah, everybody knows better. And that was done in Nashville, Joanne?
Yeah. I was lucky enough to go down there and do a full project down there with some great players. I had a guy named Dave Rowe, he was actually bass player for Johnny Cash in his later days, and Montgomery Gentry drummer, and a fellow who played lead guitar for the Wreckers, and Gretchen Wilson. And so we were just talking about how amazing it is that you can go to Nashville and have these super talented people walk in and just breathe life to these songs.
Yeah,
It's
and how
such a cool
quickly
experience.
they do it, right? Like it's just like there's no work
Yeah.
to it, because it's like they just do it almost like they're a team of construction workers who are building a stadium, because it's like
Absolutely.
everybody just has such a huge bag of tools, and it's like, what are we looking for? What do we want here? And they just pour their heart into it. It's just fabulous.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
How did you
amazing.
get connected down there, Joanne? Like, how did you? What was the first brought you there? Did you know somebody, or how did that
Yeah.
work?
Yeah, I did actually. Well, many years ago, I actually won a competition up in Canada, and part of that prize package was to do a trip to Nashville. And I went to Nashville, went to Pigeon Forge, and competed in a competition there. And one of my friends, who also was part of that group, had been going back and forth to Nashville writing songs. He now lives in Nashville. He's now signed to Warner Canada, and he was signed to Warner Publishing. Amazing songwriter in country. Literally phoned me up and said, like, what are you doing? And why haven't you done an album yet? And I had like a million excuses, like, well, I can't afford it. And he was like, okay. So now that's all the excuses. So I really have to credit him.
Yeah.
His name is Aaron Goodvin, and he's had some top 10 hits up here in Canada. And
What's his last name?
Aaron Goodvin. So Goodvin.
Okay.
And he really was the catalyst that kind of brought me down there and said, let's write some music and let's get you in the studio. And we're still really super good friends. Today we write together, and just spoke with him on the weekend while I was up north playing music. And yeah, so I kind of have him to thank for that album. He co-produced it.
Yeah.
And he's kind of kept me connected in the Nashville scene, which is awesome.
Yeah, I want to tell you, it's a wonderful community of people, just in not only in terms of the wonderful talent, the deep well of talent, but it's just socially, they're just such a great bunch, to just hang with,
It's amazing. I've had some amazing experiences. I actually, I met Steve Cropper, the
oh, did you really?
Brothers.
Yeah.
We hung out at the studio there, and he told me lots of cool stories, and I got to listen to one of his last records before it even hit the airwaves as he was mixing it, and watch him lay tracks. And so it's really cool that everybody just puts their ego aside, and they're really just about the love of the music. And I love that about Nashville.
Yeah.
Totally love being there.
Yeah, my good friend and producer Kim Copeland always says, every time I go down, she goes, "Yeah, I'm going to get that sign out above the door. Leave your ego at the door."
Yeah, there's no room. They're just the nicest people too. I just love Tennessee people. They're just so nice. And
most of them are like, you would never know how fabulously talented they are just by talking to them. But it's not a big deal down there because everyone is. It's almost like, I drink water too. It's like, it's like, this is what we do. This is our thing,
Totally. And it makes you so much better just being in their company, like I love that. Just I've learned so much just from making that album.
Yeah, the learning experience is fabulous because I think, as artists, it's incumbent upon us to always like tune yourself. I call it. It's like tune your body, tune your mind to be ready, because if you're awake, you're going to learn a lot, even if you're a seasoned person who's, I've been doing this for a while, decades of different studios in Los Angeles and New York and whatever. But every time you go in, there's somebody's bringing like gifts to you, and like you just have to be like ready to receive them. And it's amazing. You never know who it's coming from or where or when, but it comes every time. Every time you learn something, either from the producer, the engineer, who's ever playing, what they're playing. Something comes out, and I think it just makes you better as a musical spirit as you go on.
Absolutely. I grew up, my mom always told me, you might be one of the best in the room, but there's probably always going to be somebody better than you. So pay attention because you can learn from it. And that's how I've always approached it, whether I play a bar with 50 people in it. I always think there's probably someone here who can just shred on a guitar. Yeah. And so, I always feel like there's so much to learn all the time. It's a non-stop learning process.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
My son plays, he just moved to Austin, and he's a fabulous musician, and he kind of adopted the same paradigm or methodology that I did a long time ago. So always, be the worst player on this. Like, in other words, get as many great people around you, and you'll just, you'll have to work harder to come up to them. And it really, really does work. Hey, I want to just mention, I'm so glad you maintained keeping your Australian accent. I could tell a little bit of the States and the Canadians got into you a little bit, but you still got it going, girl.
It's so funny how that works. I don't know how that works. I feel like it left me right in the beginning, and then I've held on to the rest.
Yeah, but, I'm glad you did. It's really awesome. So let's play another one. This one is called "I Got You."
I've got a house, I've got a home, I've got bills on the table, people I should phone, but there's a message on the mirror saying I love you, and I do. I've got love, he's got a job that puts food on the table, gives me everything I want, and there's a message in my suitcase saying I love you, oh, and you do. 'Cause everything I've ever done has has never turned out quite as fine as you. And every time I look around and count the blessings that I've found, I find you. I do. Yes, I do. I've got a dream, you've got one too. We've got kids at our table, watching everything we do, and there's a message in our madness saying we love you, oh, and we do. Everything we've ever done has never turned out quite as fine as you. And every time I look around and count the blessings that I've found, I find you. I do. Yes, I do. I've got a house, I've got a home, and I've got you.
I Got You. Beautiful piano playing on there. Wow. That also in Nashville? This one?
Yes, actually, the piano track did come out of Nashville, and I actually sang the vocals up here in Edmonton on that one.
Yeah, it was a great track. Really, really great. So I want to just give a plug. Give everybody your website. We're going to say it again at the end, but for folks out there who want to get connected to Joanne's music, she's offering some free tracks through her website. So just sign up for the email newsletter. And what is your website, Joanne?
Yeah, so it's Joanne Janzen, so JoanneJanzen or ZEN.com.
Awesome.
And if you go on there, there's a number of different places you can put your email in. I don't send annoying emails out. I send some free tracks, and then I just keep people updated from there. So
great. That's the kind of website we love.
Yeah, I really just do that to make sure people know what they're getting, and if they connect to my music, then I really want to keep them as friends. So that's important to me.
Yeah, so you send out content that is relevant and interesting and entertaining, and you're not a spammer, I'm sure.
Not a spammer. Yeah. Don't like spam. Get enough spam of my own. I don't like to do that.
I hear you. I want to just tell some people just a little bit about what you've been doing. One of the things you did, you mentioned earlier, was Up With People, and that was the true beginning of your calling to make a musical career the focus of who you are. So, you did that for 18 months nonstop around North America and Europe, global musical experience. Tell us a little bit about that, because I knew someone who did this a long time ago, and I never knew enough about it, but I'd heard about the organization for years. Is it still going strong?
It's still going.
Yeah.
It's still going strong. They don't have a year-long program anymore. When I did it, it was a 12-month program. It was all encompassing. It became very expensive to tour people around the world like that. So they do a 6-month program now.
Right.
But basically what it is just a youth experience. And they bring together people from all different cultures. So I think in my musical cast, there was 22 different countries represented. And there was 100 of us that traveled around the world. And we did a musical show, like a Broadway-style musical show, which was kind of like the catalyst to come into a community and do community service work and just basically talk about peace, love, and understanding.
Yeah,
it all sounds very like froofy, but
very 60s.
It's very 60s. But it was unbelievable. I never understood. Honestly, when I did it, I just wanted to sing. I wanted to go on stage and sing. I got such a bigger experience than that from it. Yeah. I have friends all over the world who are still my great friends to this day. I toured with people from Africa and, all the Canadians that I met, all the Europeans, and I just got this really global understanding of the world and differences and people's and it has made me the person I am today, with everything that's going on right now. With everything that's going on, it's so important that people just have an acceptance and understanding of people, all different religions. Was not religious based. There were people from every corner of the world and every different religion, and we all basically traveled together and lived together for 12 months.
Yeah. And
it was awesome. We went to refugee camps. We went to nursing homes. We cleaned up after storms. We did community service. We, went to hospitals. We just had this amazing experience that has shaped a lot of us to this day to raise our kids that way with acceptance and understanding. And I was lucky enough to be asked to sing the lead role for the show. So I also got a very musical education through the whole experience as well.
This from a girl who was afraid to answer the phone.
Can you imagine?
To answer the phone.
Grew up in a little tiny cane farming town in northeast Australia. So
wow.
Yeah.
You've come far, lady. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Life is a balancing act. Sometimes a walk on a high wire, sometimes a dazzling array of glitz and showmanship, and nearly always 3 rings of melodic chaos. Right back to my interview with Joanne right after this. Are you a singer, songwriter, artist, or author? Are you in need of a platform for your career? Well, the James O'Connor Agency is in the business of helping you broadcast your global career. If you are needing to expand your presence in a big way, such as having your music and your voice heard around the world, well, look no further. We have the platforms here to help you catapult your career like no one else can. Your artistry can be featured around the world on the James O'Connor Agency YouTube channel. Here at the James O'Connor Agency, we can expand your global career by being a featured guest on Dharmic Evolution for singer-songwriters and everyone in the entertainment industry. Or The James O'Connor Show, designed for authors, speakers, and thought leaders. Both shows are international radio, TV shows, and podcasts. Go to thejamesoconnораgency.com and find out what we can do for your global career right now. How old are your kids?
Well, my oldest, I can't even believe it when I say it, just turned 14.
Okay.
And my youngest is 11, and they're awesome kids.
Are they? They got to be thrilled that you're a singer-songwriter.
You know what? They love it. They love singing themselves. They're as shy as I was at that age.
Right.
So they're not stage kids, but they're very good singers.
Yeah.
But I don't push them to get up and sing it unless they want to. But yeah, they're great kids. They have their own interests. My oldest is an amazing competitive gymnast.
Wow.
My youngest is a basketball player and a cross country runner, and she loves to play the piano. And it's just really cool to see them grow and
do whatever they want, right? I think that's good not to push kids to music, because they'll latch on if they really want to do it, and it's probably better that they get hungry with it. I mean, when I have 2 sons, and my younger one, he's the one who's, I think he's on his 5th CD by now. Like, he does everything, plays everything. He's always fronting a band. He teaches. But I remember he said to me one time, I think he was 13 or something, or 14. And he said, "Dad, you said that you and Mom were gonna get me guitar lessons." And I never looked up. I was writing something. I said, "Did you learn those 3 chords I taught you?" And he walked out of the room, and then he just caught fire, and he was playing relentlessly. And now he graduated college as a music. He got his BA in music, and he teaches me now. Teaches me music theory.
I love that.
Because I never learned it, so it's like, all right.
Yeah, me either. I'm self-taught.
Yeah, so it's cool. Tell me about your writing process. When do you write? Do you have a regiment that you do? Or is it like, well, I got a project and I'm going to write for that? Or is it just you wait for the muse to hit? How does it work for you, Joanne?
You know what? When I first started writing 10 years ago, I would wait for the muse to hit. Just like you say, I'd wait for the inspiration to channel in at 2:00 in the morning. And I would and I really found out over the years that wasn't very productive.
Yeah.
As inspired as it was, I had a few songs here and there, some that were really great and some that were not, and it just wasn't productive. So in the last 12 months, I've challenged myself to get up every single day and write. And whether that is writing a poem, a journal, a thought, I just call it free writing. I just write whatever kind of comes into my head. And then from there, I usually formalize the process by picking out a theme and then working on it. And I try to work at least, even if it's 20 minutes a day, if that's all I have, I try to write every day. So by the end of the week, I have hopefully a song that's enough that I can sort of do a little bit of a work tape with it. So I've become more of a writer who has some discipline, I guess.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I have friends, like my buddy I was talking about who's in Nashville, there's a time when he's writing 3 songs a day on Music Row.
Right.
The productivity behind that is just astounding when you think about it. So I was like, there's no reason why I can't write 1 song a week.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I try to do. And, sometimes I end up with a fantastic song, and sometimes it's a little bit uninspired because I'm maybe not channeling as much creativity on that day, but I try to keep with the process. And try to do it every day.
I like that method. I kind of have a similar one where, I'm usually targeting time frames, and I'll say, okay, for this month, I'm an early riser, and I love, like, it's quiet in the morning and I can think, and I usually come out with things. And sometimes it's like you say, sometimes I got a title, or, some lyrics. Sometimes I got a piece of a song, a chorus, and then I just keep moving on. Then all of a sudden you look back and go, wow, look at all the material I have to work with. It's like listening to it for the first time again,
Absolutely.
So, hey, I want to play this other one. This one is called We're Ready.
Sometimes we cry, sometimes we fall, sometimes we get knocked down, but we don't care at all. Sometimes we're scared, sometimes we're bold. Tonight we're ready to take all of the world on. We're ready, we're ready, we're ready to fly. We're ready, we're ready, we're ready tonight. Sometimes we shine, that time has come. It's like we're marching to the beat of our own drum. We're ready, we're ready, we're ready to fly. We're ready, we're ready, we're ready tonight. The brighter you paint it, the better you'll be. You can do anything when you believe. We're ready, we're ready, we're ready to fly. We're ready, we're ready, we're ready tonight. Sometimes we cry, sometimes we fall, sometimes we get knocked down, but we don't care at all.
We're Ready. What were you getting ready for on that one, Joanne?
Well, that was a writing day where I was kind of challenged to by a group, or we were just talking about a group of people that I had met who were doing sync licensing, to write a song that was kind of upbeat and inspirational and a let's go type of thing. So I was kind of thinking about my kids, and they're like my 14-year-old, and they're
Right.
always like whenever I say like, well, let's go do this, they're like, yeah, we're ready. You know, they're always so excited. They're
Yeah.
so excited to do stuff. So that's kind of where that came from.
Well, I think you've got a really happy home. That's why. You
I
know?
do.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky. I'm
Yeah.
very, very lucky. Yes.
When kids are that way, they're so receptive. They're not like, nah, I'm laying on the couch. You know, they're like ready to do things. You know,
They are ready.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So we were just talking about April Kelly and the Sync Lounge and all that. And we were talking about Durango, and I just want to throw this out there. I've been to Durango Songwriters Conference twice, and it's really for anybody looking, who's listening to this show, to like, you know, enhance your connections to other artists. It's one of the smaller venues you can go to. They have it in Colorado every year in October. I think they have another one in February in Los Angeles too. But boy, you're gonna see some incredible songwriters that are mostly behind the scenes, but they're writing all the big hits. You know, these guys are just unbelievable.
I would love to go to that.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So tell me about your next project. You said you're working on another album, an EP that's coming out, and any time frame for when we can look for this?
I'm really, really hoping by early 2000. Gosh, are we nearly 2018? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
By early 2018.
That's only a few months away. You're gonna hear this and go, "What did I say? What am I?"
know. What did I do? Well, one of the big things for me is that when I started writing, I started playing a lot of guitar, and because I play a lot of pubs, I play all solo acoustic right now. I do have a band that I would hire for bigger stuff, but I love playing guitar. For me, it's just one of those things. So I really wanted this EP to be very acoustically driven.
Right.
Meaning that I could sort of create more of it on my guitar than I ever have before.
Yeah.
I really look up to artists like Liz Longley, these singer-songwriters who have these amazing like acoustic playing and that sort of connection. So that's what I'm really looking for it to be, is an EP that's really authentically me and has some sort of acoustically driven.
So when you say authentically you, are you looking to have this like scaled down production wise, so more of you comes through it and it's not layered so much? Is that kind of the goal?
You know, I think definitely that for me is a sound that I feel that I can tour,
right?
And that it feels like sort of the album does. So that's kind of definitely always something that I would have, the thought process. However, I love big production too because it's so cool. So, but I definitely, my husband actually is an amazing singer also. He doesn't do hardly any singing on stage, but I would love to have him do a lot of my harmonies. He melts with me very well, our voices together.
I know I saw your video with you guys. I think you were covering a Chris Stapleton song, was it? It was great. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, he's really amazing. I think because we've done this for so long, he knows how to really just match with my voice. And so
you guys get over to Facebook and check out this video. Yeah. Joanne Janzen, her family is singing. Her and her husband's really cool. Yeah.
And so I really like that harmonics. I would like lots of voices, lots of harmony, and a little bit scaled down production, and that's what I'm going for.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. It's really so great when you can do that. Where you have your better half, your other half, who is just really loves your world so much that you can do that together. It's really cool.
My favorite thing to do, sing with my husband. Yeah.
Yeah, better than a football game, right? Any day.
Yeah.
Or even a hockey game.
If I can interrupt him during a hockey game.
Well, you're in Canada now. We got to make a little concessions here.
Yeah, so, he's probably not.
Hey, so you guys did did something for your fans here, which I thought was really cool. You had this You Take Me Home Ultimate Dream Vacation.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. How did that work? What was that all about?
So I actually was working with one of my friends. They say never hire your best friend, but I did, and it worked out to be the best thing ever.
Right.
She kind of helped me building my business at that time and just kind of putting out as my single, You Take Me Home. And we kind of both came up with the idea of, well, this song was about me leaving Australia, and so let's give away. Everybody wants to go to Australia, especially when you're from the other side of the world. So let's see if we can give away a trip to Australia, which was kind of crazy because it was like a $10,000 trip.
Wow!
But the two of us together just kind of worked on it endlessly, and we ended up getting sponsorship from Maritime Travel in Canada. And they covered a really good portion of the cost for that. And we had people send in entries and tell us why they wanted to go to Australia.
Right.
And from that, we found a winner. And I still keep in contact with her today. She was a young girl from Nova Scotia who had some terrible medical issues and wasn't able to travel for a long time. And she wound up, her and her fiance went to Australia for 3 weeks. And got to visit like my home area and everything, and had a $10,000 trip just based on sponsorship that people did through my music, which is one of the coolest things I've ever done, is to give somebody a trip to my home country.
That must have been amazing. Yeah. What a feather in your cap. I mean, it's, when you give something like that to somebody, it just must feel amazing. So while we're talking about that, it's time to play it. You Take Me Home.
Sunburning on white sandy beaches, moonlight on the waves, salt on the skin. I miss the way it was back then. But you came along and stole my heart. I needed to be wherever you are, so I followed your plans, chased your dreams, and it took us far away from my city. See it in your green eyes, baby, you're my paradise. I'm always gonna miss that warm summer wind, but when you wrap your arms around me, I'm back there again. When you're kissing me, baby, you're a woman of my soul. Hold me like you'll never let me go. Find a way every day, always proving to me all that matters is that we are together, even though I miss all the sunny weather. I'm gonna be fine, I know, 'cause wherever we go, you take me home. When you kiss me, baby, you're a woman of my soul. Hold me like you never let me go. Find a way every day, always proving to me all that matters is that we are together, even though I miss all the sunny weather. I'm gonna be fine, I know, 'cause wherever we go, you take me home. Oh, oh,
All right, You Take Me Home. So that was how these wonderful, lucky people got a chance to go to the down under, the land down under. That was really, really cool. Hey, so tell me about your aspirations for your career now. You've got the sync licensing. You're delving into that now. You play a lot of shows. and you have another album that you're focusing on coming out in 2018. So it sounds like it's going to be a busy year for you.
Totally. And, I guess in terms of aspirations, all I've ever wanted to do is do this full time forever.
Right.
I never want to quit. When the minute I think about quitting, because there are days when you think that way, especially over the last 10 years, there's been days like that. I maybe get 15 minutes in and I just can't think of anything worse than quitting music, because to me, this is who I am. It's the way that I can express the best version of myself.
Right.
Whether that be as a mother or a wife or a friend or a musician, I am the best version. So in terms of aspirations, I've honestly never had an aspiration to be super famous. I find that horrifying.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe because of my shy tendencies.
Right.
When I'm on stage, I'm incredibly boisterous and out there. But when I'm not on stage, I'm not quite. I pick up my kids from school with my baseball cap on.
Right.
So my aspirations really is just to make really great music.
Yeah.
Connect with people, keep doing it full time, make a living for my family. I want to provide whatever that they need. I want to help my husband in that endeavor as well, and eventually help other people do what I'm doing. Yeah. Because I get incredibly upset when I hear people say it's not a job, you can't make money at it.
Right.
It's a side thing. Never do it as a full-time thing. All of those really bad stereotypes that come with, you never do it for money. You have to do it for the love of it. Yeah. I totally want to bust those stereotypes wide open and just show, especially women, when you have kids, and then, I've had very talented musician friends who've had kids people in the industry have said, oh, well, it's over now. She's having a child,
Right.
To me, that's just more inspiration, and I just want to do this for the whole rest of my life. I want to show other people how to do it. Want to help them keep their businesses, above board, so they can pay for things and they can have good, fulfilled lives, and that's really my goal.
Yeah, it's a worthy goal. I mean, I think the beauty of what we do is there are no age barriers in what we do. I mean, because I'll give you an example. I had a young girl on. She's 14 she's from Canada. Michaelin Hay. This is about 6 months ago. So she was on, and the next day I had on a guy who was from the South, and he was in his 60s, and they were both awesome. They were both awesome artists, and it didn't matter that their style of music was different. They both had tremendous work ethic. 14. I said to her, "Don't tell me you're a freshman." She said, "Yeah, I'm a freshman." I said, "Oh my God," and
amazing.
And it was like I always cite the example of B.B. King. Like he literally almost played till the day he died. So he was like the happiest guy going. He was doing like 265 shows a year, and he got really sick. And all of a sudden, one day I saw a post on Facebook saying, "Hey, listen, I'm in hospice. I'm fine. Everything's okay." And then he was gone, just like that. It was almost like he lived the best life, because he played like every day, and
absolutely
almost every day. So why not? Yeah. It's different if you're a football player or basketball or something. You have a shelf life of so many years. But we as creators get to sing until literally we don't have any lungs left in our body, like in the air.
Absolutely. And that's, I actually even used to think, James, when I was younger, that my time was running out. I actually thought that. And I think because, some people had maybe put that in my head, and for some reason I believed that I had to have, all my good stuff out there in my 20s or something like that.
Right.
But now I just realize as I get older, I get smarter, I get better, I get more determined to keep doing it. So
right.
I just think like my producer in Nashville asked me years ago when I made that album down there, why are you doing this? And I said, to be honest, I can't imagine telling my children when they're growing, I gave up my dreams.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine having to tell them that.
And why should you? There's no reason why you should, There's another funny one I got to share with you. I've told this before. I was watching one day, and they had the Stones on from way, way back. I think Jagger was 21 or 22, and they had this extreme close-up of the camera on his face, and the guy's interviewing. He's going, he goes, so, how much time do you think you're going to put into this new endeavor, Mick? And Mick's going, he's like, had this bewildered look on his face, and he's like, I don't know, I guess we're good for perhaps maybe another year. I think we'll be okay. And then it looks like 6 decades later, they're still touring. It's like he really thought that it was going to be like he had no idea what was about to happen to them, I don't think anybody, because a lot of the bands just went away and came back. I mean, Aerosmith, they fell off the map for at least, I think, like a decade. They were just like not doing anything. And then somebody kind of shook them and woke them up and said, hey, do you realize the value of what your brand is? And look at them now, they're still playing and touring. So I think you can take this as far as you want to take it. I think anybody can. It's just about the work ethic and the talent. And clearly you have both. So, now you got your kids to roadie for you.
I do.
Well, listen, we're just at the end here, Joanne. Tell us one more time about your website. I just want to encourage people to go there because you got to go pick up the cool downloads you can get there. So please visit Joanne's website. Give it to us again.
Yeah, come on over to my website. It's Joanne Janzen, JoanneJanzen. I always say I have Zen in my name. Zen.
I love the Zen.
.com. And come say hi to me on Facebook, too. I love connecting on Facebook and on Instagram. Facebook and Instagram are my 2 social media platforms that I use the most.
Okay, great. I think I already connected to you on both of those. So we're buddies now.
Find me there, and I love chatting with people and finding out stuff that they like. Yeah.
Well, listen, it was a real pleasure to have you on the Dharmic Evolution today. I really appreciate you coming on, sharing all your stories and your music and your family and everything going on, and your 2 countries that you're a member of. We just got to get you citizenship in the U.S. and then you're ready. Then you're ready.
That would be awesome. I would love to be. So, I traveled all around the U.S. So many beautiful places there. I would love to live.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thanks for having me, James. I think what you're doing is amazing, and it's great to meet you. Maybe I'll make it to your part of the world at some point.
Do you ever wonder why you were created and what you're here to do? Then the geography of the soul will help you to find your true place in this world. The music is so inspirational, including tracks such as I Wanna Be Loved, State of Grace, and Ride On. James Kevin O'Connor is an internationally acclaimed singer, songwriter, music producer, entertainment agent, TV star, and a loving father who leads you to find your true place and calms your mind and soul in breathtaking ways. Buy Geography of the Soul today by James Kevin O'Connor at iTunes, CD Baby, Amazon, jameskevino'connor.com. Geography of the Soul, a beautiful CD that you need to own today, by James Kevin O'Connor.
Sponsored by the James O'Connor Agency. Everybody knows better. I got you. We're ready. You take me home. Performing at least 80 gigs a year for the past few years, Joanne is ratcheting up her presence in a big way. Check out her website. It has all her tour dates, music, products available. And don't forget about the free downloads. It's at joannejanzen.com, JoanneJanzen.com. Check it out. I had a great time interviewing Joanne today. Really an awesome person, awesome songwriter, and I'm sure a great mother and wife and all the things that go with that. Really amazing to have her on the show today. Hey, if you have not yet had the chance, you got to go over to the James O'Connor Agency. Check out what's going on over there. A lot of artists around the world are checking in, taking advantage of all the products we created, and this agency is offering them. You may have also heard that we write songs for authors, speakers, and thought leaders. Yes, very true. We just wrote and produced a song for alumni distinguished Professor Scott Geller from Virginia Tech University. Scott now has a flagship song that supports his brand, Actively Caring for People. We released the song recently, and it's called Here to Share and Care. So I'm going to play that at the end of this episode just to give you a handle on what Scott's all about and the work that he's doing. Very, very important work. I think you'll take an interest in this if you check out his website. And that website, again, is Actively Caring for People. It's actually AC4P. That's the letters AC, the number 4, the letter P.org. Check that out. Hey, do you need funding for your next album, project, single, or video? Well, go over to the JamesO'ConnorAgency.com. Let us hook you up. We can connect you with the how to get funded. It's easier than you think. We also want to encourage you to visit dharmicevolution.com. Check out your show and blog profile right now. If you've been on this show, you're now on the site. Joanne's now on the site. And people from around the world are logging in to see and hear all about Joanne and her music. And one more footnote on the way out the door here. If you know a band, singer, songwriter, some musical people that you're really interested in that have stories to tell, get them to go over to the Dharmic Evolution website, click on the guest tab and sign up. If you got slamming content, that's why we're here. We're here to feature other artists around the world and help them get that much needed platform to get them to the next level. So as promised, here is Professor Scott Geller's new anthem, Here to Share and Care. I'll catch you next time.
Did you ever stare into darkness and look for the light? Have you ever felt compassion that makes your heart come alive? A simple act of kindness will nurture a spark in your heart. You've just sown the seed to help someone in need. We all love, we all cry, and we bleed. We are here to share and actively care. We all have this special yearning that's burning inside. I think it's called love. It's all about love. Step out of your comfort zone and please do not be afraid. Compassion, comfort, and kindness are virtuous foundations laid. Know what it feels like to be lonely, hungry, and cold. A smile will arise as you give yours away. We should feel this way.